Planning, planning, planning. If you do not have a plan, you planning to fail. That little cliche, it's legit, it's real. When I first moved out here, I thought I was gonna have this business up in a year. It was gonna be running smoothly. I was gonna be jet setting all over the place. That didn't happen. It is not the case. Your girl is broke, y'all. Hi guys. So we are gonna go into a different set of series. So we've already talked about where you're going to move on the continent, and your decision on where you are going to move is going to be based on those things that you know you need to be able to be your best. We talked about what kind of a business you were going to do here, right? And that would be you're doing something that you know, or you're doing something that you like. So now what I want to do is to kind of break it down step by step by step. I'll do a video for kind of each step and we'll talk about each one. And then if there's anything you want to know more about, or if you're like, Rita, give me an experience or what you've dealt with, hit me up, DM me, write a comment, do whatever you need to do. But anyways, knowledge is power. And I'm definitely here to give you any help, advice, expertise that I have amassed by myself here to make your life a little bit easier. So now we've decided we're going to move to Africa. We are moving to Kenya, and we have decided we are going to start a business. In this little series, I'm going to discuss specifically my business and what I've done. And you can extrapolate from that what you can for your own endeavor, or if you want some help to discuss how we can fit or amend what I've been talking about to fit what you need, just hit me up and we'll talk about it, all right? So the first part is obviously planning. You cannot expect to go somewhere without a plan of getting there, right? Did you hear me? Let me say that again. If you do not have a plan, you planning to fail. That little cliche, it's legit, it's real. Write all this stuff out, because what I've noticed is that when you write stuff out, it feels more real and it makes you more accountable to yourself to making sure you get this done. Remember, starting a business is a lonely job. It's only for you to get done, and your dream is not everybody else's dream, but your goal is to make sure your dream is other people's dream. Does that make sense? Meaning that you are able to convey what it is you're trying to create with your team around you so that they can also help you grow and make your dream a reality. So the first thing in our step-by-step process is planning. Planning. It is really important to have and create a business plan. It doesn't have to be very intricate. It doesn't have to be really involved. It can just be a rough outline, a rough sketch. And in your business plan, you want to put in there, what are you getting? Where are you going to be getting it from? Your name, your suppliers, how much will your costs be to start up? Maybe manufacturing costs, doing some research on who your competitors are, and having some goals and things like that. So breaking it down. First thing you obviously want to do is to be able to have a name for your business. You want to create a name that is something that's important to you, or maybe that it's not, but you want to have something that can identify your business. And so it's easiest to do something that is simple. If you're going to be coming to Africa, I think it's important to take into account how people hear and interpret our English, right? So what do I mean by that? You know how when you kind of go to different countries, when people speak English, like the way that they speak English, it'll have a tone, right? Like all French people, when you hear them speaking English with a French accent, you know, it's like, hello, my name is Jean-Paul, and I am here, and this is what we are doing, right? Like it doesn't really matter which French person you hear. When you hear them speaking in English, that's what it sounds like, right? Same for an Indian, you know, like, oh, what is the name of the business, and what are we going to be doing, and how could it be looking, right? Pretty much most Indians, when they speak English, that's kind of how they sound, right? And so why am I kind of making this point? The point I'm making is that you want to be able to communicate, or rather, best communicators are the ones who know how to speak to the person in the way in which they're used to listening. I do a lot of accents. I will change my accent and how I speak, what I talk about, and anything with the person and who my audience is. I think it's probably one of my better skills. I'm a Gemini, so we love to talk and communicate. And so being able to speak to somebody in a way in which they get it makes sense. So now why am I also just saying this? I think it's really important also when you're choosing and picking a name. So for us, our company name is Toshana Investment Africa. And there's a very specific reason why I called ourselves Toshana Investment Africa. Toshana in Kiswahili means the same, even, equal, everything being on the same level. And the reason why I called my company Toshana with that understanding and meaning is I want our company to be accessible to anybody and everybody. In these parts of the world, you have a lot of like rich, poor, high class, low class. And when you start making those types of labels and designations, it really gets into people's heads. To give you an idea, one time I had taken my house girl Irene out and we had just we were walking around. I was like, oh, let's go in here and go and have lunch. So, and when Irene comes to my house, I mean, she's dressed sharp, right? She look better than me anyways, right? So, but when she comes to the house to work, she'll change her clothes into like house clothes so she can work. And then when she leaves, she wears like her, her outside clothes. So we stepped out. I think I was wearing some sweatpants, looking like a mess. And she was just really dressed. So we're walking into this restaurant. I go first. I walk in, I turn around to see where she's at. She's not there. And I like turned around. I was like, girl, what's wrong with you? Come on. And she just stopped in the front of this restaurant. And she said, they're not going to let me in. They're not going to let me come inside of here. And it was like really sad. It was really sad to see that that's what she thought. And that I knew that kind of just came from how she's been brought up here, kind of how it's really shoved into your head that you're rich, you're poor, and your sense of belonging is based on that. And so that's just a little small story to kind of illustrate kind of mentalities that are around here. And it's because of that I really wanted to have a company name that let people know just by the name itself that there's no designation between rich and poor, better, worse, right, left, tall, short, whatever it is. When you're coming to us and you're coming to get any of our products, all of our products are available to everybody, and we are talking about proper quality at a value. And so for us, it was very important in our naming stage, during the planning stage, to have a message and a name that can convey that. And for us, it's Toshana Investment Africa. I would suggest that you be mindful of it if it's something that is important to you in your company culture and however you're going to be doing. Next step you want to do in your planning process is finding your suppliers. So for us, we are importers and we are distributors and importers of all wellness products. It is our goal to be able to be the best and the well-known importer in this region of high quality, add value wellness products. When you look at the things that they dump on this continent, right? Like just to, maybe you guys might remember, when the HIV was really, really like a big topic and, it was everywhere. The numbers in Africa were just nuts. And what's really messed up around here is that a lot of the medications that are sent to this country, sent to this continent are expired products that are no longer in use, products that are not really well working. And so it really kind of sucks that this is the stuff that you're getting. So one of the reasons why it was so important for us to be able to create a wellness company that did do exactly that, to provide the health and the wellness to our people, was to make sure that we find really quality suppliers. You got to research it. Some of these suppliers are real assholes. Some of these suppliers are shifty as F. They will do whatever they can to get your cash. And you got to understand, like when you are importing into these types of countries here, like for instance in Africa, where contracts are kind of like, they're just merely pieces of paper. They're not really going to be enforced, dealing with court systems, polices, and all of that. We'll talk about that in another video. But all of that to say, why am I saying that? Is that when you are in these parts of the world, it is imperative and it is important to really find quality suppliers who can also help you create what you want, and that falls in line with the vision and the mission that you have for your company. Do the research. It's not easy. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not easy. We will do another video where we talk about exactly how do we find suppliers, how do you identify those suppliers, how do you reach out to them, and how do you really engage all of them. We will do another video on that at a later point. But again, in this planning process, you want to be really mindful of finding and contracting and engaging in partnerships with suppliers who really do have high quality products and that they want to be in the country you are to help you also grow, because you do need consistency. A big thing, next big step in our planning process are costs. So one of the things that has been really nice about starting my business in Kenya is that our costs compared to being in the US to start up are a lot less. It's like a fraction of the cost, which makes your life a little bit easier because now you know your capital can stretch a lot longer. Labor in this country is very cheap, which also is a value addition for you as a business owner, especially if you are a business owner from the West coming here. It's unfortunate, but a lot of the employers here really don't take care of their employees. For me, it is a very important aspect because let's be honest, your business cannot grow and be an amazing business if you don't have good people who work for you. So again, why am I saying that? These are some of the costs that you are going to have to incorporate, right? And some of these startup costs can be an office for you to be able to go out of, finding printing materials, being able to find employees, delivery guys, being able to get on the phone, being able to have Wi-Fi, have data, being able to see how much is it going to cost for your accounting costs, your taxes, your legal fees, engaging new employees, HR, documentation. So all of these little small little costs are costs that if you can identify them, it's going to definitely help you in this planning stage to figure out how much capital you're gonna need and how is it gonna look, right? Another big thing is manufacturing costs, right? So for us, we are importers and we are distributors. We purchase all of our products from end to end in full, and then we import into the country. I will say, and we can talk about this a little bit later, but as an aside, sometimes to do in manufacturing local in the country, it can be hard. It is unfortunate in Kenya, a lot of the government agencies that we have been to actually encourage your citizens to buy outside and import into the country opposed to manufacturing locally in Kenya, which is super unfortunate because at least the one thing we know in Kenya, we do have the means to manufacture on a large scale. We've got the employees, we have facilities, we have area, we have raw materials to be able to manufacture in the country. But it's just, our government here, it is a corrupt government. It's very unfortunate because it will play a huge part in how you do your business. But those manufacturing costs, it should be taken into account. To give you a small example, we are now at the point in our business that we have been wanting to adjust some of our formulas for our drinks, and we were looking to manufacture locally in the country. It's very important for us that we hire local and we use as many local people in our business. And so we wanted to be able to start manufacturing locally. Would you believe we must have contacted at least 12 different local manufacturers? And so just as an aside, our first set of products are wellness and nutrition drinks. So think sodas with lots of vitamins in it. And so we were looking to do them locally. Every single company that we went to said no, no, no. Even the companies who were not making drinks that were similar to ours refused to do so. And then when we went to the licensing agencies, the government agencies across the board, and this is KRA, Kenya Revenue Authority, KEBS, which regulates bringing in, are the products what they are. All of these, KIRD is another manufacturing local government backed, helps you to be able to start up cottage industries meaning small industries within your house before you start to move into bigger industries. And would you believe every one of them told us no, that they don't want us to manufacture in the country? So if you are going to be moving to a country where they do manufacturing and it's something that you want to see, really check out those prices. It will make a difference in terms of your end costs. As importers, we do pay duty, tax, logistics, clearing, and it makes a huge difference on your bottom dollar. It makes a huge difference on how much you can now turn around and charge to your customers. We will talk about the importation process and how do you get products into the country after identifying suppliers in another video. I'll take you through the whole thing, and then if you have any problems, you'll let me know. Competition, right? So I think one of the big things that happens with businesses is we get scared that, oh my God, there's going to be competitors. The one thing I have definitely learned since being out here is that yes, you will have competitors. However, the market, there's more than enough in the market for you. There is space for you in the market to run your operation. There is space for you to be the best that you can be. And you've got to be able to differentiate yourself from your competition. One thing that we have as Westerners being here and being in America, moving here, is that customer service, going to stores, and how they treat you is kind of a norm in the States. For maybe some of you guys who have been to into Europe, sometimes you'll notice that they're not as friendly, right? The one kind of attribute that Americans are given globally is that we're friendly, we're always talkative, we want to engage with people and do all of that. So that all lends to a quality customer service experience, right? Africa has a long way to go with customer service. There's really no such thing as customer service. It's incredibly annoying, especially when you're used to it, because you know that once you go somewhere and you got great service, you're going to go back, right? Even if the food isn't a 10 out of 10, but if that service is a 12 out of 10, you going back, right? You're going to go back. You're going to spend your money. You're going to have other people go, because that customer service is what makes that experience so amazing. So for us, we are very in tune with customer service. We're always asking people how can we help you? What can we do for you? We'll send out little small gifts. We'll do education, but that is not the norm here in Kenya. I have noticed that a lot of the restaurants, for instance, where they have good service, it's generally because they have American owners. But it's just something that I am throwing it out to you guys so that you can be mindful. And this is one area as Americans coming to Africa to create a business where we can excel, because it is so much in the American culture in terms of customer service in that retail area, in the restaurant business, bar business, right? Even in bars in the States, you can usually go to a bar and start talking to the bartender. Here, you very rarely will just have a bartender shooting the shit with you, right? So those little small things is what really can help your business here in Africa stand out compared to your competitors. Every business is going to have a competitor. It is what it is. These parts of the world, the monopoly is real, right? The one thing that is interesting with Kenya compared to maybe a lot of the other less developed African countries is that because we have so many different types of people coming from different parts of the world, you're also getting a different experience. And that experience, that competition, it's a little bit different being here than in some other places. But you want to be able to research your competition. You want to see where are they selling, what are their niche, how are they marketing themselves, how long have they been in the business, what are their customers, what are they looking for? And then you pick it apart and make sure that you make yours look a lot better, right? Another really big thing is realistic goals. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I first moved out here in 2016 and I started up our business around 2018 because I was dealing with getting my citizenship here. I thought I was going to have this business up in a year. It was going to be running smoothly. I was going to be jet setting all over the place. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. It is not the case. Your girl is broke, y'all. I'm over here brokety broke. All right. It's not true. Okay. So all of that to say, why am I saying that to y'all is be realistic with your goals. I have now found, after many trials and tribulations, start small, stupid, right? KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Now I'm much more methodical with my planning. Every quarter we do a strategy just to make sure that what we have decided at the beginning, we are implementing it, and we keep our little goals small. So when you do hit them, you do feel really happy and big, because let me tell you something, it was crushing when I wasn't just importing containers and containers after 1 year. Okay. So all of that to say is keep your goals realistic. All right. Another thing that you really want to do is just a lot of research during this planning phase. Looking at the pricing for items that are like your product, your competitors' products, what else is in the market. Being here in Africa, being in Kenya, our customer base is very price sensitive. Very, very price sensitive. So you could have an amazing, amazing product, but if that price point is just too high, you're going to be in a very niche market, which maybe is where you want to be, right? Maybe that is where you want to be. And maybe your product is only for niche market, which is fine. But if you are, for instance, how we are more for a mass market product, we have to be very mindful of the price point for our products. Our sodas that we have had to make adjustments and amendments with our wholesale price and our distributor price after learning, being in the market, just how price sensitive our customers are. So these are small things that you should do. Being also here in Kenya, which is different than being in the States, these parts of the world have a lot of these secondary markets, right? Secondary markets meaning being in slums, being in low areas, kijijis as they're known, where, you'll find your same thing in the main grocery store, but if you go into a parallel community and you go into the slums, you'll find the same product. So to give you an idea, I was looking for a pesticide for one of my houseplants because they were covered in these aphids. And for all of you guys who are plant parents, you know how disgusting aphids are, right? Like, they're just gross. Anyway, so I had these aphids all over my plants, and I had gone to a mainstream agrovet, and an agrovet is kind of like think of like a Home Depot type of thing, right, where you can find all of these like plant stuff and all of this stuff. So anyways, I went, and it was like $9 there. I had my rider take me to Kamangware, which is a local slum here, and I found the same exact product for $3. So I'm giving you that example just to let you know, do your research and really delve inside. I am a person where I believe you've got to do it yourself, especially in these first stages of your business. You don't give it to somebody else to go and check. My mom has been telling me that like my whole life. It doesn't matter how big your business is. You got to know what everybody in your business does. You don't have to do it because you pay them, but you got to know what they're doing. So that way, if somebody comes and tries to run you some foolishness, you already know what's up, right? Around here, there is not a building in this city that I have not been to go get a license or to go and get an ID or whatever it is. And it serves me very well, because when you do get a local who asks you, the first thing when they hear your American accent, they're going to be like, oh, Daddy Warbucks is here. She about to change my life, make it rain on him. No, it's relative. This girl is broke. I ain't got nothing for you. So I need you to go and do what you got to go get done. And so why I'm saying that is that it's really imperative and important to know your market, to know your customers, to know where you're selling. Is it hard? No. It's just having a natural curiosity and just being super inquisitive and just really throwing yourself out there and like talking. I can't tell you how many times I have been in the Central Business District here in Nairobi, aka CBD, and waited in line at like 5:30 a.m. waiting for one of these guys to get me paperwork. Anyways, my name's Rita Mavunda. I'm out here living the life, building the dream, and I want to help you do the same. So this section, just so you know, was our planning phase as we're setting up our business in Kenya. Like, subscribe, hit me up with comments. If you got questions or concerns, hit me up. I'm here for you. Thank you.